Do you believe that in the 1960s you could walk into a regular car dealership, sign the paperwork for a car that was completely legal to drive on the street, but immediately after that, the manufacturer would cancel the warranty and place a warning label on the window for track use only? Not because the car was defective, not because the dealership made a mistake in the paperwork. That was the manufacturer's intention. These cars were sold to the public, yet they had enough power to blast down the quarter-mile in roughly 10 seconds. Engineers had to bend homologation rules, under-report port horsepower on official documents, and sometimes even mislead insurance companies. Today, we're going to re-open the file on 12 of the most unhinged factory drag cars ever to roll off an American assembly line. Machines that once irritated NASCAR and gave NH officials headaches and turned ordinary dealership parking lots into the starting line for drag racing legends. One 1963 Plymouth Savoy 426 Max Wedge. Not a flashy sports coupe, but a sedan that looked almost ordinary. Yet hidden beneath that simple body was a very different heart. The 426 cubic inch Max Wedge 58. One of the most brutal machines ever stuffed into a car sold to the public. Plymouth's engineers understood their mission perfectly, the quarter mile. So, they began removing anything that wasn't absolutely necessary. The front end was replaced with lightweight aluminum panels. The suspension was tuned for violent launches, and the engine bay was designed to swallow that massive big block engine. On paper, the Savoy Max Wedge was rated at about 425 horsepower. But on the drag strip, reality told a very different story. When the starting lights turned green, this plain-looking sedan launched like a cannon, lifting its front wheels slightly off the pavement and opening the door to the brutal era of super-stock drag racing in America. 2. 1963 Chevrolet Impala Z11. Chevrolet was known for smooth Impalas built for the long boulevards of America. But in 1963, they decided to turn this full-size cruiser into a true drag strip machine. Under the hood sat the 427 cubic inch Z11 V8, equipped with massive dual-quad carburetors. On paper, Chevrolet listed a modest figure of about 430 horsepower. But the racers of that era all knew the truth. Real output could reach 500 horsepower, a number that was almost unimaginable for a commercially produced car in the early 1960s. Chevy also spared no effort when it came to reducing weight. The hood, fenders, and several body components were made from aluminum, transforming the large Impala into a formidable /4M Predator. Only about 50 Z1s were ever produced, and their appearance quickly made both Detroit and insurance companies uneasy. The power was becoming so extreme that by the end of 1963, General Motors was forced to issue a controversial decision, banning engines larger than 400 cubic inches in many of its vehicle lines. 3. 1963 Pontiac Catalina Super Duty. Among racers, it earned a legendary nickname, the Swiss Cheese Pontiac. That nickname was no joke. Pontiac engineers literally drilled dozens of holes through the frame and various metal components to shave off every possible pound of weight. From underneath, the car's chassis looked exactly like a block of Swiss cheese full of holes. In an era when the concept of crash safety was still vague at best, this was the fastest way to turn a full-size sedan into a 4-mile weapon. At the heart of the Catalina Super Duty was a 421 cubic inch V8 equipped with a Carter AFB4A barrel carburetor. Pontiac officially rated it at about 405 horsepower, but the real-world results told a very different story. The car could run the 1/4 mile in the low 12 seconds. Performance roughly equivalent to over 500 horsepower at the time. Only about 14 cars were produced, making the Catalina Super Duty one of the rarest factory drag cars in history. Decades later, one example sold at auction for nearly $742,500. Proof of an era when Detroit engineers were willing to drill holes straight through a car's frame just to gain a few tenths of a second on the drag strip. 4. 1964 Ford Fairlane Thunderbolt. As the Thunderbolt was created with a single purpose: to win on the drag strip. Ford engineers stuffed the massive 427 cubic inch side oiler V8 into the Fairlane's body, which was far more compact than the company's full-size models. On paper, the engine was rated at about 425 horsepower, but the racers who drove it all knew the real number was closer to 540 horsepower. A machine that was almost a pure race car sold directly from the showroom. Ford also launched an extreme weight reduction campaign. The hood, doors, and front fenders were made from fiberglass. The window glass was thinner than normal, and even the battery was relocated to the trunk to improve traction during launch. Exactly 100 Thunderbolts were produced to satisfy NHOLOG rules, but that was more than enough. When the starting lights turned green, and this Fairlane would often lift its front wheels off the pavement and blast through the 1/4 mile in the mid-11 seconds, turning the Thunderbolt into one of the most legendary factory drag cars in Detroit history. 5. 1964 Mercury Cyclone 427. The Cyclone was originally an elegant coupe built for the street, but in the hands of Mercury engineers, it quickly transformed into a true drag racing machine. At the heart of the car was the 427 cubic inch side oiler V8, the same legendary engine family that had already made Ford famous on the racetrack. Once installed in the more compact Cyclone body, that power became incredibly aggressive. To serve its 1/4 mile mission, the car was equipped with a fiberglass hood featuring the distinctive teardrop hood scoop, allowing the engine to gulp more air under acceleration. All the suspension was also tuned to transfer maximum force to the rear wheels during the moment of launch. The result was a Mercury that looked refined and stylish, yet could launch off the starting line like a bullet. In Detroit's drag racing war of 1964, the Cyclone 427 proved that Ford and Mercury were playing the same game, and they were willing to